One shot, now the future is yours. Go. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. We put the bars in the place. I'm talking one chance at best. Yes, yeah. It's one shot. Now the future is yours. Go.
From the Rockfield campus of Montgomery College Television is proud to present NJCAA College Soccer with the Montgomery College Raptors welcoming in the Knights from Essex Community College. Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Brown alongside my partner, Caleb Scarborough, and we are looking forward to an excellent match here between two of the best teams and maybe biggest rivals in all of Maryland JUCO.
It is beautiful day for some soccer. I mean, the fact that we get to see a doubleheader between these two clubs is going to be just an awesome afternoon. Michael, pumped to be here with you as we're about to get underway.
Let's run down the starters real quickly for the visitors from Essex. Number 1, Maya Friedenberg. Number 2, Ashlyn Fuentes. Number 3, and leading scorer, Avery Lane. Number 5, Lindsay Lopez. Number 6, Mia Vetri. Number 8, Samantha Grace. Number 10, Mackenzie Salenza. Number 11 is Mari Hernandez. Number 16, Sarah Briggs. And we are underway. And there's a breakaway right away and a very quick goal for Essex.
Yeah, that's number 3, Avery Lane, their leading scorer on the season. That's going to be her 14th goal. And, I mean, they just went right down the heart of our Raptors. Michael, I mean, you were running through the lineups as the Knights were just running through our defense right there in that moment. A beautiful touch to the right foot and then just easily beat the keeper to lay down in the back of the net. I mean, there's a reason why she scored 14 goals this season. She made it look way too easy there.
And 3 of them are game winners as well to go along with a couple of assists. So, yeah, the Raptors keeper Estrada came out, made a gamble, and lost that bet. Anyway, back to the starters. Number 16, Sarah Briggs. 18, Diamond Brown, and 33, Kayla Davis-Friend. Head coach for the Knights is Stephen King. Assistants are Emily Vetri and Natalie Berkey. Starters for the Raptors. Number 4, Jenny Pham, one of the co-captains. Number 5, Cyan Cabral. Number 9, Amelia Webb. Number 11, Natalie Zambrano, another one of the captains. Number 14, Mary Earls. Number 15, Emmy
Michael,
Grace.
you couldn't even get through it again. That's goal number 2.
Oh, my goodness.
This one by number 16, Sarah Briggs.
Wow, that's her first of the season.
You're going to have to fly through these lineups, Michael. We're getting already behind. That's 2 goals, and we're not even 2 minutes into this game. I mean, Briggs, another one of those plays, balls played out wide to the right side, and the keeper just not in a great position there. And really an easy finish. And you said that's Briggs' first goal of the season. Well, talk about a picture-perfect start here for the Knights.
Boy, they couldn't ask for anything better. I don't know how you could do any better. Number 15, Emmy Grace McSeany for the Raptors. Number 19, Catherine Aquino. 22, Alicia Flores. 23, Isabel Watson. And in the goal, having a rough start, Nadia Estrada. Head coach for the Raptors, Licia Holzendorf. Assistants are Dennis Shart, Christian Mejia, and Erica Klein. So, wow, what a whirlwind beginning.
Yeah, I usually like to talk about some of the things each team needs to do in order to win this match. And for our Raptors, they need to stop the ball from going in the back of the net. I mean, 2 minutes in, 2 goals given up. And if you're Essex, you can't draw this up any better. I mean, this is picture-perfect scenario for a team to start the game, traveling on the road, coming here and getting 2 quick goals. I mean, wow.
Jeez. I don't think I've ever seen 2 quicker goals at the start of a match. Here we go again. Oh, that time they're offsides. So, the Raptors back on their heels before we even hit 2 minutes.
Yeah, that back line is just not – they're just not – head's not in the game just quite yet. There's been some lack of communication and some lack of communication on the keeper's part as well to kind of stay disciplined and stay in that goal. definitely going to have to slow things down and work on the fundamentals here.
Well, the number one thing they need to do now is not drop their heads. They got to stay in it. Here we go again. And one of the Raptors got their foot on, I think it was McCini. She's another one of the co-captains for the Raptors. The Raptors came into this one on a high note. They were unbeaten in their last 4 matches. They beat Howard 4-0. They tied Hartford, who is another one of their top rivals. Here comes the corner. And the Raptors get it out of there. That was Alicia Flores. But the Raptors came in having tied Hartford. They shut out Richard Bland. And on Tuesday, they knocked off Frederick. So they're unbeaten in their last 4. They're 6-6-2 and 6-6-2 overall, 4-2-2 in Maryland JUCO. Essex comes in with a record of 9-4-1. They are 5-3 in conference. They lost their last match to Harcum 4-1. So here they come again on the attack. McCini knocks it out. It's a beautiful day here. Couldn't ask for better soccer weather. Not a cloud in the sky, a little bit of a breeze. And we're just about 5 minutes into the match.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about real quick, Michael, is you were kind of running through Essex and what they've done recently. In their last 3 games, they've scored 18 goals. Granted, their last game they played, that loss against Harcum, they only scored 1. So you're talking about 17 goals in a 2-match span, right?
Whoa, there's a stop. Here comes
Estrada,
the rebound. Look out.
Offside flag, thankfully. Yeah. Estrada, though, staying a little bit more disciplined there, which I do like to see. But, again, this Essex team knows how to score. I mean, they've scored 57 goals on the season. I mean, they're on a 4-goal-per-game clip right now. So, for a lot of people, it's always a shock to the system when you score 2 goals in less than 2 minutes. But this is something this team has done consistently this season, is put the ball in the back of the net.
The Raptors, on the other hand, have 37 goals in their 14 matches, averaging 2.64 per match.
I want to see the Raptors right here try to possess the ball a little bit in the midfield. We're just seeing a lot of lack of spacing. There's not a whole lot of movement if you're looking right now. So for the Raptors, you've got to knock the ball around, switch the field, make Essex actually play a little bit of defense, because they are just coming down your throat nonstop right now.
Yeah, they're very aggressive. They are definitely carrying the momentum right now. And well, here's another interesting stat. You're talking about the goals. Essex has scored those 57 goals on just under 17 shots a match, whereas the Raptors have fewer goals, but they're actually taking more shots per match, 18.4. So their shot percentage is not nearly as strong as Essex. So that'll be Raptors ball. Goal kick there by Estrada. Estrada is a freshman out of Kennedy High School. She has a 2.09 goals against average this season. And she's already sadly approaching that. And again, we are just underway here from the beautiful soccer facility here on the Rockville campus. Raptors have not really had much. Here's their first foray into their offensive end of any consequence, but immediately Essex turns it around. Now it'll be Raptors ball on a throw-in.
There's a massive gap right now in that midfield for our Raptors. There's just a lot of space. Part of that, Michael, is because they haven't had that chance, like I said, in the middle to possess the ball any. And when you're constantly playing defense, one of the main culprits to that, too, is your midfield game just does not exist. So a good opportunity here, finally on the offensive third. Try to possess it. Take your time. Let's see what we can do. It's a great ball.
And that really, wow.
I mean, that right there was the exact ball that they scored that first goal on into lane. She's looking for that ball right down the middle. That was a great defense there by number 23, Watson, on our end to be able to track that pass, because that is a difficult ball to stop, especially with somebody like Lane, who's got a bit of speed that we've seen here early on.
And she is nationally ranked in goals at the D2 level. Essex is a D2 program. The Raptors are a D1 program. And Lane is 18th in the country in D2 with now her 14th goal. She also is 15th in the country in game winners. She has 3.
So what you're telling me is she starts fast and she also knows how to finish games too, Michael, is what you're telling me? She can score in the first minute and in the 89th minute type of deal? Okay.
That's the way it looks.
Well, let's make sure the Raptors are ahead by a couple goals before she gets unleashed at the end of this one, okay?
The Raptors need a goal here. They need to feel like they're back in it.
Yeah, I would just like to see some possession, really.
Yes.
This team loves to pass the ball, and that's a good idea there. But just hold on to the ball here for a second.
Another good ball. Good speed there by Diamond Brown of Essex. She's one of their top scorers. She's got 5 goals on the season.
Lane's looking for that through ball again.
Oh, there she is. Estrada comes out and covers it. But once again, the middle was porous.
Yeah, one of the things definitely to keep an eye on is, one, you can bait a team into playing that ball, especially if your keeper is aggressive, to be able to come out and snag it. But also, you have to have defenders that are strong and fast, because a girl like Lane can absolutely blow by you. And if you don't have the strength to be able to body her, or you don't have the speed and able to get in front of her, it can cause you problems all day long. And so Watson's done a good job the past 2 on those through balls to be able to stop it. We'll have to keep an eye on that the rest of this afternoon.
Head coach for Essex is Stephen King. This is his first season. Previous 10, he was at Johns Hopkins. And also a first-year head coach for the Raptors, Licia Holzendorf. Licia played here back in in 2013 and 14. She played for Phil Nana when she was here, went to nationals with one of his teams. And then she went on to play at Washington Adventist for 2 more years. She still plays semi-pro out of Frederick. I remember Licia well as a player.
Gonna have an early substitution here, looks like, for our Raptors.
Yeah. I'm trying to make out the number as she comes in.
I believe it's 16. Yeah, it is number 16.
Emma Pyle checks out. And that's number 16, Sarah Briggs, checking back in. She was one of the starters. Raptors trying to get something going. There's a steal. They're looking for Lane again. From the wing, Estrada's there for the stop.
One of the things I really like about what Coach Holzendorf has done, though, is build this confidence for her team, especially in that back line, to kind of play that ball around. However, Michael, there's times, though, where they get a little bit too lackadaisical or they play a little too slow, and those turnovers can turn into very quick chances, especially we've already seen for CCBC Essex. They kind of play a tight line. They like to pressure as soon as they turn the ball over, and that's one of those things as a Raptors, you've got to play quicker. And that's one of the things that you'll notice here so far is the Raptors have not been able to switch the field or pass it quickly out of that back line, and it has caused some problems here early on.
That one gets through. Stephanie Barrios, number 10. She'll throw it in for the Raptors. Barrios is one of the top scorers on the Raptors team, but she's on the back line today. She's got 7 goals on the season and a game winner plus 6 assists.
Yeah, those 6 assists I think are really clutch. I mean, I really think that's such an underrated part of her game. I mean, goals always kind of get the look and stuff, but if you have a team that has somebody that can pass it as well Barrios can, and another person we haven't talked about yet, and I know we will, is number 11, Zambrano, also with 6 assists. She is fantastic in that middle, and we're going to keep an eye on her for sure. I know we'll talk about her quite a bit, as here's Lane on this near side. She's going to be problems all day, but I've been impressed with Watson here recently after giving up those 2 quick goals. Watson has seemed to kind of turn up her intensity, and let's see if that picks up some of the other defenders.
But they've got a bit of a deficit to come back from. Tons of time. And as you saw from those first 2 goals, it can happen quickly in soccer.
Well, this is one of those things, playing soccer all my life and stuff, and even coaching, we always heard that 2-0 deficit is the most dangerous spot in soccer, because you feel a little confident, maybe a little too confident, a little bit too lackadaisical, and another team could just pop you in the mouth and be right back in it. So let's hope that is the case here. The Raptors can kind of pop Essex in the mouth here and get right back into this one.
Yeah, sometimes scoring that quickly kind of takes the edge off, and maybe they get a little full of themselves. We'll see. The last thing our coach wants is for them to think, oh, we got this. There's a good play by the Raptors D. They really need to try to possess that ball. They just haven't been able to hang on to it.
Yeah, there hasn't been much there, and there hasn't been much to play up the field. And what I mean by that is when you look up front, up top there hasn't been much space or room in behind. That back line for the Knights has been really strong at keeping it a high line, and it hasn't allowed the Raptors to be able to push a ball over the top at all.
And they are keying on Kendra Wochin for the Raptors. She's the Raptors' leading scorer, and they're on her like a second skin. Wochin is nationally ranked 5th in NJCAA D1 with 13 goals. She also has she has 3 game winners, 6th in the country. But she has really not been able to show her stuff yet. Here we go. Something going on now for the Raptors. And nobody there. Keeper for Essex is Kayla Davis-Friend. She's a freshman out of North Carolina. McSteeny with the throw-in. Sophomore captain. Co-captain.
Gonna get a handful more of substitutions here, both sides.
Trying to keep them fresh. The Raptors certainly have a deeper bench, it looks like. See a couple of players. The player on the right there looks like she must be out with an injury, perhaps. She's not dressed for the match. So their bench looks a little short today. Perhaps the Raptors can take advantage of that. Talking to Coach Holzendorf before the match, she told me she was going to have 22 ready to go. This is the time of year when those injuries...
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of laughing to myself because I'm like, man, the number of teams that wish they had 22 players ready to go at the beginning of October. I mean, I don't care what division you're talking. You can talk NCAA, D1, all the way down to junior college, NAIA. If you have that many people that are healthy right now, you are in a good shape.
Look at that beautiful drone shot of the corner for the Raptors. Here it comes. Little long.
Yeah, good idea trying to hit that to that back post. Just kind of curve that one in, swing that one in. It's just not able to serve a great ball. But it's one of those things, Michael, and you've been around the junior college world for a while, you know, benches in soccer kind of get thinner and thinner. And you see some of these teams with only 12, 13 on the roster. And so to have that many at her disposal for the Raptors, I mean, you're talking about the depth for the season. That means a lot.
Absolutely does. I have covered Raptor teams of both men's and women's over the years that had very thin benches. And like you said, you get to this time of year, injuries start to crop up, ankles, hamstrings, etc. And it really tests the player's fitness.
The soccer season is just an absolute sprint, truly. I mean, it's you know, less than 3 months overall, and you play so many matches, and you're playing 90-plus minutes every match. I mean, it is just an absolute sprint. I mean, as soon as you think you're in shape for preseason, all of a sudden it's middle of October, and you've only got, 8 games, 8 matches left, and it's just it's hard to believe how fast it goes.
It really is. It won't be long before the postseason starts. There's Amelia Webb trying to maintain. There's Wochin. See if she can get free here.
I love that play by Webb, using her body to be able to hold off the defender. I mean, that is just beautiful soccer. Nice move there.
Wochin, shot. Oh, nice stop by Friend. Wochin got a lot of that one.
Yeah, I can't blame her for shooting that one, but she had 2 options there in the box. Wochin, she knows how to score. It's one of those things you can't blame a scorer for shooting the ball, right? But that one right there, the Raptors needed the goal.
Yeah, that would have helped a lot. And there's a foul on Essex. So the Raptors with the free kick, penalty kick. Let's see if they can get something going. That's number 9, Amelia Webb, who we just talked about. Amelia's from right here in Rockville, went to Rockville High School. There's Lane. McSeany. There's Zambrano.
Yeah, it's a good touch. It's a great touch by Zambrano to be able to beat one.
Tried to lead Wochin, knocked out by Essex. So the Raptors with a throw-in deep in their third.
It's exactly what you want to see from that center midfielder Zambrano, to be able to escape pressure. I mean, she had 3 Knights on her. To be able to take a touch and get by and beat them, it's led to this opportunity here for the Raptors to get their second corner kick, really.
And here we come. McSeany is going to do the honors. I'm sorry, that's Webb. See what they can do with this one. Pretty good win right now. Curves it in there. Nope. So that'll set up a goal kick for Friend. Just about 20 minutes to go here in the first half. In case you joined us late, Essex scored 2 lightning quick goals right off the opening kickoff. They were up 2-0 before 2 minutes had passed in the match.
Raptors have done a better job of settling in since that. We've seen some good defense out of the back with Watson being able to keep a better eye on Lane. We've also seen a little bit better offense in the middle. Zambrano's being able to get the ball. Wochen's had an opportunity, and so Raptors are settling in a little bit better, that's for sure.
Absolutely playing better. But they need a goal real badly. That would go a long way towards building their confidence. Lots of time, though.
Lots of time, and the type of offense that the Knights are running right now is just these through balls. So we're not seeing a whole lot of variety in their attack. They really are looking to just split our defense. And so the Raptors, if they can figure it out like they have so far, they're going to be able to shut that down. And so it's going to be interesting to see if Essex has a different approach here or if they continue to just play these through balls. Because if you're a good defender, and we've seen Watson kind of pick up on it, those balls get a lot easier when you figure out what a team is trying to do time in and time again.
Right. Yeah, their first 2 goals came on through balls. But they haven't really threatened since. Well, we did have one other good stop by Estrada. There's a tackle on Webb. Here comes Wochin. And they get it out of there. Lane runs it down. She really is deceptively fast. Not an overly big athlete, but boy, she's got skills and she's quick. Avery Lane is a sophomore out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. This is Freidenberg taking it all the way up. And she'll throw it in. Sophomore defender. Comes the substitute for Essex. Lane is checking out. Get a little bit of a breather.
Knights don't have a deep bench, but man, they sure are making those subs. I mean, I'd love to see that too. You know, you got to get players in, you got to get a little bit of break and stuff, and they're not afraid to throw in some of that bench. It's a thin one, but got to do what you got to do to protect a 2-0 lead.
Well, and you definitely want to keep Lane fresh after what we've seen.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if she comes back in here in this first half, or if Coach kind of lets her ride out this until the second half.
She's standing next to the coach. My guess is she's going to come back in, but who knows? I mean, if they maintain the 2-goal edge, he may let her take a break. Nice play there by Barrios. Gets it ahead. They're looking. Oh, here's a foot race.
It's a great play there by Friedenberg, just using her body, shielding that ball, letting it roll over the end line and stuff for a goal kick. It's one of those kind of underrated things that you see is just smart soccer, you know, having a good IQ. And it's also pretty impressive because Friedenberg is not the biggest athlete out there at all. And to be able to use your body in that way, because you're going to take an absolute beating when you're not the tallest, you're not the strongest, you're not the fastest person. But you do have to have that IQ, and that's something Friedenberg's doing well here this afternoon. She's taken the ball in the space that she's been given. She's been pushing it up the line, playing that outside defender role. And it's one of those things, too, Michael, she is doing a ton of running, right? I mean, we just saw her all the way on our end on the 18-yard box, all the way back to her 18-yard box. So she's one of those box-to-box players, which is what you want to have if you're a coach.
And she's wearing a captain's band, so.
Yeah, good reason, I'm sure.
Yep. I think everything you described plus.
A little too much dribbling there from Barrios. Want to get rid of that ball.
There's Zambrano. Zambrano is one of the sophomores on the team. She's also a co-captain. She's a local one from Germantown, went to Northwest High School. Very strong leg. There's Wochin. Goes out. So she has really not been able to get open today. She had one opportunity, which we both thought perhaps she should have passed. Easy for us to say.
Yeah, it's always easy for us to say, especially when we don't have 14 goals on the season, you know.
Yep.
It's always easier up here in the booth to say what you should do and what you shouldn't. But it's one of those things, I think you kind of mentioned it, is not only Wochin, but really the entire kind of offense has just been a little bit off. There hasn't been great movement. There hasn't been great spacing. It's just lacking a little something. As there's a shot.
And a rebound. Oh, my goodness. Oh, she wants that one back.
Oh, man.
That rebound, that's Diamond Brown.
An absolute diamond was given to her to be able to bury into the back of the net there. Estrada doing a great job of getting full stretch on that block, but pushed that ball right in the path of Diamond. And, man, the Raptors are lucky not to be down 3-0.
Boy, and the whole left side of the net was just gaping open, and she just missed it. That would have been a very, very painful goal for the Raptors. That would have made it 3-0, and then you're starting to get into, boy, how do you come back from that? 2-0, like you said, it's possible. The Raptors would love to get on the board before the end of the half. That would help psychologically more than anything. And they're not going to get to that one.
No, one of the things, too, is Wochin's playing a little bit deeper all of a sudden. She's not playing as high up. She's playing more in really on like an outside midfield role here. And even then, she's not pressing up as high. And so interesting to see if maybe the Raptors coaching staff has made a few changes or decided to move a few pieces around. But we're not seeing Wochin, who's, you know, you mentioned is, what, top 15 in the nation and stuff in scoring? I mean,
fifth in the country, top 10.
Jeez. So it's going to be interesting to see if maybe there was just a change, if maybe the Raptors are trying to, move things around some, but you definitely want somebody that knows how to put the ball in the back of the net, getting some opportunities in front of the goal.
Well, she's also 6th in the country in shots with 42. So she likes to get she's not shy. And, of course, the results speak for themselves. Good look at Mary Grace Massini.
And I think the start to this, Michael, was also just really surprising because as you were kind of in our intro talking about the last 4 matches for the Raptors, unbeaten in their last 4, right?
Right.
To come out and give up those 2 quick goals was really just a shock to the system. I mean, it's one of those things. September was not the best of months for the Raptors overall. Was kind of a struggle in a lot of ways, but towards the end of it, in the beginning of this October, Estrada's able to get that one. It seemed like they kind of turned a new leaf, and so I think that's why both of us were a little shocked by how quickly those goals were poured in by the Knights.
Yeah, I did not. Nobody expects that, but yeah, that caught me by surprise, considering how they played of late. I was here for the Howard game a couple of weeks ago, and had the pleasure of calling that one, and the Raptors dominated that one 4-0.
Our official times for the goals: first goal, 19 seconds
19
into this one.
seconds.
Yep,
Wow.
19 seconds. A second goal at 1:08 into this one.
So 2 goals in the first 1:08. Wow. I'm not sure I've ever seen that. I've called plenty of soccer matches. There's Frydenberg again.
It's a good ball. I like that.
They run it down. Oh, couldn't keep it in.
I thought she got a deflection off of it, but the refs are saying goal kick. I thought she was able to play it off the Raptor.
And she really thinks it was.
I think everybody kind of did. Even the Raptors were kind of making their way in to defend a corner.
For a corner, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really like that ball there by Friedenberg. She had just enough weight on that pass to allow Sophia Larlos to be able to run onto that one. I really did think that Larlos was able to deflect that one off a Raptor. So nevertheless, Raptors going to have a goal kick here.
Avery Lane just checked back in for Essex with just under 10 minutes to go. There's a good look at number 22 for the Raptors, Alicia Flores. Freshman out of Springbrook. Mary Earls. There's Wochin again. Now she's all the way up.
It's a tough pass to handle there.
Yeah, that's for sure. And as a result, it'll be Raptors on the throw-in. Beautiful day here. Very dramatic. Uh-oh, here we go. Here comes another through ball. Needed some help, and there wasn't any there. That was Malat Abraham for Essex with the breakaway. Wochin takes it away. Trying to get it. And Mary Earls is going to lose that foot race to Frydenberg.
But one of the things we're seeing there, Michael, you know, it's a great ball a lot of times. But the problem is it's only a great ball if your forwards and midfield are high enough up. We're playing so deep. That back line for the Knights is able to establish such a high line that to play that ball, you've got to have two things. One, you've got to have a great ball, and two, you've got to have some speed. And if one of those two things is missing, it can make it really difficult to do anything except kick that ball out of play, just like that ball was played there. You know, it was a great ball, just not quite enough speed. And you've also got Friedenberg back there in the back, who's just done an excellent job of tracking back this entire first half. And so the Raptors, again, just have not established really an offensive identity in this match.
No, they have not. And that's a no call.
Woo.
Good hustle there by Barrios.
Big tackle there by Barrios. She wasn't too happy about getting pushed down, and she got back up and absolutely took the ball out and a Knight with her.
Playing on the back line today, she has 7 goals on the season. Here's a good look at it. And then she got right back up and beautiful slide
She
tackle.
made sure to get the ball, that's for sure.
Here it comes. Dangerous.
Zambrano with a nice job getting ahead on that one.
Estrada challenged again. Sure-handed. She's definitely settled down after a rough beginning. But frankly, through balls like that.
Yeah, I don't know how. It's one of those things. I mean, those. You were asking for some one-on. That first goal was one-on-one. I mean, it truly was. It was Lane versus the keeper, and almost I would say 7 to 8 times out of 10, you are going to lose that, especially when you're playing somebody that scores goals like Avery Lane has all season long, right?
Exactly.
The second goal, it could be argued for sure. Estrada did kind of come out on that one, but she's made a couple of good saves, and like you said, she's been sure-handed at times as well. It really is a team effort when those goals go in, right? There's some miscommunication, there's a lack of hustle, whatever it is. And so the Raptors have settled in here, but again, we're just lacking that offensive identity. We have not seen them connect besides one opportunity with Wochin. But besides that, it's just been this right here. The Knights possessing it, tons of space, looking to play up.
One shot on goal. That's it. They've had a couple of corners, but nothing's really come of that.
5 minutes remaining. 5 minutes remaining.
So we're down to the 5-minute mark here in the first half. Raptors trail 2-0. Would love nothing better than a goal right before the half. That would sure help the locker room morale at halftime. There's a player down for Essex.
Out. Yeah, I think Wochin dribbled that one over the end line too. Yep, so it's going to be a goal kick.
Didn't see what happened. It's Lane. Avery Lane was down there helping out on defense.
Yeah, it almost looked like she caught the heel of Wochin and kind of came down kind of hard. She's got a smile/grimace on her face there as she runs back.
She was rubbing her upper hip.
Yeah, it looked like the way she fell just kind of jammed her into the turf almost.
Well, the turf is great to play on, but the players do say you feel it when you hit it.
I hate falling on the turf. It's a lot of fun to play on, but falling on the turf is just the worst.
There's the battle. Raptors trying to get something going.
Good move there by Friedenberg.
Boy, she is a tough little player.
Here's that through ball. I've been talking about it all afternoon.
And the Raptors are going to win that foot race.
And that's why I'm still confident on the Raptors having an opportunity. Their defense is starting to figure out what Essex wants to do. They've just got to connect here offensively.
They really have had just the one shot on goal.
It's been a relatively clean first half.
Which is great.
Which is great. It's been just soccer, which has been really nice.
No, and I was told before the match that a lot of these players know each other, and that there had been some back and forth this week on social media, but so far we're not seeing that.
No, nothing extracurricular, nothing with any sort of like motive or anything like that. It really has just been both teams trying to play the game, figure out what's working, what's not, and ultimately it's what you want.
Two minutes to go in the half. Raptors would like a little magic here. Webb. Set it up again. Barrios gets knocked down, and that's going to be a foul.
Oh, that was generous. That was generous. I thought that was going to be a play on there. I know Barrios hit the ground hard, but that looked like a 50-50 ball to me.
Yeah, I did. Wochin. See if they can get something. Earls. But the Essex D is right there. That goes out. It'll be a Raptors throw in. We're down to a minute.
1 minute remaining in the half. 1 minute remaining in the half.
Keno with the throw in. Wochin. Freidenberg all over her back.
So one of the things with Wochin is we're going to have a free kick here for the Raptors in a dangerous spot. One of the things with Wochin I want to see her do more is use her arm as kind of a guard. She does a great job with her body, Michael, but the thing that she doesn't do a great job is getting that arm up to really use it as an arm bar is kind of the way to describe it. When you just use your body, it allows the defender to get right up on you to basically steal that ball anytime they want.
And that produced nothing.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that is the end of the half. As time runs out here, we've played 45 minutes. And Essex, with 2 quick goals right at the start of the match, makes that stand up for the rest of the first half. And they lead 2-0 at the break. So we're going to take a break, and we will be back with you in just a few minutes. But don't go anywhere. There's plenty of great programming coming up here at halftime on MCTV.
Do you know what happens to elements under extreme pressure?
They transform, become something new.
Something formidable.
Are you keeping up? It's not just physics.
It's a metaphor for the Raptors.
Yeah, we are made of something special. More than just a crest on our chest.
Under the spotlight, under the pressure, we come alive.
We're not just playing the game, we're redefining it. With every pass,
Every dribble,
Every set,
and every play. not just a game for us.
It's just who we are. We raise doubts as we raise the bar. So to anyone who thinks they're ready to challenge us,
Bring it on. We are the Raptors.
we're ready.
We ready.
Bring it on, we're ready.
Data science is much more broad. Our world is full, in fact, we're saturated with data. We're consumers, we're producers of data. A lot of people are now suddenly aware, maybe because of ChatGPT or any of these artificial intelligence pieces that are all surrounding our lives. Data science is hard to describe. Many people have tried to describe it, but basically, we're looking at ways to take in data by ingesting it, cleaning it, manipulating it, summarizing it, analyzing it, and modeling it using different software, tools, technology to create insights that are meaningful to somebody who would need that information. Incorporating programming languages such as Python, RStudio, SQL, Tableau, any of these software that students are using right now. If a student puts it on their resume, they could get a bump up in any field, for example, journalism, public policy, healthcare, any sort of social justice where we need to talk about data. Any of these careers right now are using data. If you want to go into retail, you probably would like to be able to use data to improve your business. One thing that data science is really important for right now is this whole idea of critical thinking, critical reasoning, and understanding of data literacy. Students need to understand what machine learning is. They hear these terms. They want to know what artificial intelligence is. Some cars have artificial intelligence built into them, but what does that really mean? And that gets into data privacy, data ethics, algorithmic bias, all these things that right now we are infused in society. So the more that a student even just takes one data class, they can start to get a sense of how data is being used for and potentially even against them. For students who are interested in getting the Associate of Science in Data Science, they could get a Bachelor of Science in Information Science at University of Maryland. They could go the business analytics route and they could transfer to University of Maryland's Robert H. Smith School of Business for a Bachelor of Science in Operations Management and Business Analytics. Many students who are taking the certificate path, which is only 5 classes, typically already have an undergraduate or even a graduate degree, and either they're doing a career change using data science, or they're upskilling, meaning they're using data within the context of their domain of discipline that they're already in. Students who graduate with some sort of certificate or degree in data science right now have so many opportunities, especially in the Washington, D.C. area. Right now, the median salary for a data scientist is just under $100,000. So it's an incredible entry level to start off in. And the job growth for data scientists right now, I believe it's about 22.5% increase per year over the next 7 years. The majority of our faculty either have already been in the industry or are currently in the industry, so they can give the most current, updated information to our students as they're learning and evolving in their own data science fields. What we really need to understand is that data science actually could have a subtitle, which is social justice. That data science really could be used to improve a society in terms of access, who is represented, who is harmed, who is not included in the decision-making process. And I think that's one of the best things about data science.
One, two, three.
So you don't know what you're gonna do. So many options, but still confused. College degree is on your mind, but where to go you can't decide. You never know if you never try. So what are you waiting for? It's time to make your move and make your dreams come true. Now is the time to start. No better place for you. So come and be a part of the family here at MC. Come and be a part of the family here at MC. Come and be a part of the family here at MC.
If there's one word I could pick to describe ACES, I think it would honestly be like home, and just that feeling of home, and that the people in your home who support you, who love you through anything, and that's what ACES is to me.
ACES just helped my whole college career. If I didn't have them, I think I would be stuck in my first year, struggling through classes.
I would like to thank Ms. Gina. This last semester, she has done a wonderful job working with me hand by hand and helping me improve my public speaking skills. If it wasn't for her, I think that I wouldn't be standing here today with you guys.
Employers are looking for licensed physical therapy assistants. MC has a 2-year degree program for jobs in this career. PT assistants work with people of all ages recovering from all injuries. You could be working at a hospital, a large corporation, a private practice, a nursing home. The list is long. And in this area, the average pay is good. Learn more about becoming a physical therapy assistant and how MC can help you get there.
Operations research, data analysts. All businesses need analytics. they anticipate the growth to be 25% over the next 5 years.
MC is defined by those who put in the work. The paths we took have been unique, but we come together with one shared mission.
If you are the first in your family to graduate, if you speak more than one language, if you are more than 50 years old, a military service member, an honor student, if you are a parent, please stand up and say, I am MC.
We don't just begin to be inspired by them after graduation. They've been inspiring us every step of the way.
And welcome back to the Rockville campus of Montgomery College. Michael Brown alongside my partner, Caleb Scarborough. And Caleb, it was pretty much all Essex in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, the first 68 seconds were Essex just pouring 2 goals in, enough to where you were still running through the rosters, Michael, for both teams before you could even take a look to see what was going on. So it has been an absolute explosion, but the Raptors were able to figure things out defensively. Offensively is a different story. We have not seen much from them in that first half, besides really one chance that Wochin had. But besides that, this Raptors team is going to have to figure out some things offensively here to be able to get back into this one against a pretty good Essex team.
Well, their back line was impressive as they really just wouldn't allow the Raptors to get anything organized on the offensive end. And then, of course, they scored the 2 quick goals, one by Avery Lane, their top scorer. That was her 14th of the season. And then Sarah Briggs, just a few seconds later, with her first goal of the season for Essex. Essex came into this with a record of 9-4-1 overall. Raptors came in with 6-6-2 overall. So they really need to get on the board here quickly if they can. Give themselves some momentum, a little bit of a boost mentally. But they're up against a real tough team in Essex.
And if you're the Raptors, I really think that the goal coming out of this half, you know, the conversation that Coach Hulsendorf is probably having with her team is, we don't need to give up an early goal. I mean, truly, if the Raptors give up an early goal here, you're talking about almost an insurmountable type of situation, right? So can you get a chance? I'm not saying you have to score, Michael, but I'm saying can you have a legit chance at a goal-scoring opportunity here within the first 5 to 10 minutes? If we see that from the Raptors, I think they have a really good chance of getting back in this one.
And here's Essex with a good opportunity. Estrada with the stop. So just as you say that, Essex with an opportunity, but didn't get much on it. There's a injured player out there. Looks like
it looked like number 10.
Like a Raptor.
Yeah, I believe it was number 10.
That's Stephanie Barrios, who
yeah, it was.
played very well in the first half.
You do not want to see a cramp this early in the second half, Michael. Believe me, I've been there, done that. Those things don't just magically go away. And so to have Barrios get that cramp here early on, we're going to have to keep an eye on that because she has been great in that center back. After giving up those 2 early goals, her and number 23 Watson have done a great job of kind of figuring out this offense for the Knights.
Yeah, they really, after that that opening barrage, Essex was fairly quiet offensively the rest of the half. They had a couple other opportunities. Estrada came up big on a couple of them, but they really did not match that first first 68 seconds.
Now, they did try to give the Knights that deflection, that rebound right into the pocket of Diamond. She wasn't able to bury that one as the Raptors were able to keep it at that 2-goal lead. And one of the things I noticed really early on here, Michael, is we're seeing that Wochin is kind of playing a little bit up higher. I mentioned in that first half, it seemed like she had dropped a little back in the offensive scheme. She's playing a little bit higher, more in that forward role now. So let's see what the Raptors can do to get her going. She is a goal-scoring machine. She's got 14 on the season, but the Raptors have not been able to find many opportunities to really push forward into their offensive third at all in that first half.
No, they really never got anything going. They had just one shot on goal, had a couple of corners, 3 I believe, and nothing happening there either. Here comes Essex on the attack. Some good ball control.
Nice little battle there between those two. Great defense there. Able to poke that one away, and it looks like it will be a goal kick here for the Raptors.
It will be. And that's Barrios going to take it.
Seems to be moving all right, which is good to see considering she went down so early with it. Looked like a possible cramp.
Raptors trying to get it out of their back end.
It's a good turn. Good move.
Another nice move there by Alicia Flores.
I love that idea there, though, Michael, trying to play Wochin, but you just got to play that ball a little bit higher. Get it over the head of the defender. That is what the Raptors need right there, is to get Wochin in a little bit of space. But what we're seeing early on is Wochin staying a little bit higher, which is really important. Can the Raptors midfield push that ball to the midfield, past that midfield line, and have opportunities to find Wochin with the ball, trying to beat this back line that's been fantastic for the Knights?
Well, they really have. They've just been airtight and error-free and aggressive. They're not content just to stop. They're bringing the ball up. Throw in. This is Freidenberg, who's really looked good on the defensive end. And that's going to be a corner, an early corner here, and it's going to be number 10, Salenza, with the kick. Stop by Wochin.
It's a great ball.
Oh boy, this is trouble. And that's a goal.
That is another goal for Essex.
And that is Lane again. Avery Lane.
From Essex, number 3, the sophomore from Allentown, Avery Lane.
That was just a great ball, really one of those, in a lot of ways, a through ball, kind of over the top. It wasn't one of those through balls on the ground, but over the top. In Lane, like we saw scored in that very first minute of this match, knows an opportune time to look for that through ball. And it's one of those things through balls are just so dangerous. You know, they're easy to defend and hard to defend at the same time, Michael. And what I mean by that is they're easy to defend because once you figure it out, you kind of see it, you can anticipate it.
Right.
But if you fall asleep at all, that through ball will absolutely gut your defense. And right there,
That's
I
exactly
said was
what happened.
The Raptors did not need to give up an early goal. Not even 5 minutes into the second half, and they've given up another goal. And so there is going to be a lot of pressure now to find something offensively, because now I really think we're going to see Essex kind of step into this and have a lot of confidence.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're up 3-0. It's going to be a tough road back for the Raptors, and Essex has every motivation to keep the pedal to the metal.
Well, I mean, it's a team that's scored 57 goals on the season.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
A team that's averaging 4 goals per matchup. So this isn't a team that's surprised by the number of goals that are getting put in.
No, that's for sure. By the way, that was Lane's 15th goal of the season. She came in with 13. She was 18th in the country coming in, so she'll probably move up a couple of spots. That last one was just a little too easy.
Yeah, 15 goals in the season is going to put her in the top 10 in Division II. So
there you go. Raptors have their own scoring machine in Kendra Wochin. She came in 5th in NJCAA. There's a good shot of Kendra. She came in 5th in the country in D1 with 13 goals. She's only had the 1 shot on goal today. There's the throw in. And there's Freidenberg there. She has just been in the right place in the right time. Smart player, obviously.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I always want to give credit where credit's due. You know, she just has that IQ of knowing where to be. She's not guessing. She's not second guessing herself. She's just aware. You know, and that awareness is so critical, especially on defense. But playing one of those outside back roles like she's doing, you have to be so aware and have a high IQ and a high motor. And you mentioned it before. I mean, there's probably a good reason why that captain band is on her arm. And I'm sure she brings a lot of intangibles, not only what we're seeing here on the field, but just from a leadership perspective with the effort that she gives every minute.
She's a sophomore, so she's more experienced. And Lane is also a sophomore. The other goal for Essex was scored by Sarah Briggs, a freshman. That'll be Essex ball. Organizing for another attack. Raptors really need some good things to start happening. Played just about 10 minutes here in the second half. Their keeper for Essex, Friend, has really not been tested today. Been a little lonely back there. The Raptors should see about changing that situation.
Zambrano's going to come back in, which is a great move, and it looks like she's going to push number 10 Barrios into that center mid role. So Zambrano's going to stay at that center back. Barrios is going to move up. And I really want to see either Barrios or Zambrano start pushing this ball forward. I think with Wochin playing up higher, that really is going to put more pressure on and importance on Zambrano and Barrios to be able to push the ball higher up. The Raptors just have not been able to do much once they get past the midfield line. And a lot of that has to do with just a lack of movement and a lack of creativity as well. We haven't seen a lot of movement. We haven't seen very good spacing. the outside mids aren't staying wide to be able to play that ball out wide. And so overall, it's just been a lack of offensive identity. Not sure what exactly they want to do or what exactly they're trying to do. It's just been kind of a pieces here and a pieces there approach. And can they put something together?
There's... Oh, wait. They had somebody, but she had no help, and she was vastly outnumbered by 4-1. They know who Wochin is. They can read the stat sheet. I'm sure their coach has talked to them about her all week in practice. Earls knocked out, and it'll be Essex ball.
I think we're going to have a corner here, actually,
Oh,
Michael.
actually, we're going to get a corner out of this.
And this has been, in that first half, where, I mean, honestly, some of the, I put this in quotes, opportunities that the Raptors have had, an opportunity to serve a ball in here, to get a touch on it, to just direct it towards goal. Like you said, we have not tested their keeper all night except one time. And so can the Raptors get a little lucky here? Can they get an own goal? Can they get something?
Here it comes. But Friend is right there. Friend is a tall keeper, too. Got long arms, long legs. That's a huge advantage for a keeper.
Yeah, and I wish we could see her get tested a little bit and kind of see what that, you know, how great she is back there in the goal. We just haven't been able to really see it at all. The Raptors only had one chance with Wochin.
Look at Freidenberg all the way up in the offensive end. Aggressively came sprinting up there. It's a good look at Sion Cabral for the Raptors. And number 3, Avery Lane with 2 goals for Essex. Essex in blue, Raptors in white. And that's out. Throw in for the Raptors. There's the head coach for Essex, Stephen King. He's in his first season. Both coaches in their first season. Alicia Holzendorf for MC and King for Essex. Kick. Approaching 30 minutes to go in the match. Been a very clean match.
Yeah, it has, and that's a great way to kind of start our evening, right? We've got the men's game following this one, which always has a lot of intensity, and it's been good to see. I mean, there's been a handful of fouls, but nothing too egregious, nothing that's out of the ordinary play of soccer and stuff. And so kudos really to both coaching staffs, because you mentioned earlier both these teams have a lot of familiarity with each other, and a lot of times familiarity isn't always a good thing. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And so to see them just focus on the game has been great. And also, it's one of those things, the Raptors may have a crazy deep bench, you know. Coach told you earlier, you know, that she had 22 ready. On the other side, the Knights, you know, a handful of subs. You got to be smart and you got to be disciplined. So your team has to be able to kind of check their emotions in order to be able to stay available for play, not only in today's game, but for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Wochin, nope. Going to lose that foot race to Lindsay Lopez for Essex.
I'm sure both of these coaches in their first year have really learned a lot about their teams up until this point, right? I mean, we talked about the Raptors, you know, 4-game unbeaten streak. That followed a tough September with 4 losses, I believe, in the month of September. So a tough September, but to come back to have a 4-game unbeaten streak says a lot about, your team where they're at mentally. And so I think that's why, for myself, Mike, I was a little bit just surprised by how quickly those first goals were given up. It's because it just seemed like this Raptors team had turned a new page, you know, after that tough September, to start getting some goals, to start playing well, to start playing some great defense. And so it was just a little bit surprising. And offensively, too, there just hasn't been anything there, except there's a header by Wochin.
No.
Oh, excuse me, not Wochin. We had a substitution there.
No, that's number 24, Mina Oliver. And, no, those first two goals were very unexpected. I did not expect that as the start of the match, that's for sure. And I may not have been the only one fooled.
So, yeah, I like what the Raptors do here, building out of the back. I like this play, playing it up the field. That's a good so, Michael, that right there is what we want to see. Okay, and what I mean by that is the Raptors' back line, Zambrano plays it out wide, and the defender then plays a ball down the line where Webb was making a run onto it. Ball was knocked out of play. Raptors have it on the offensive third. That's how you build up, and we haven't seen that a lot from the Raptors. And it's a simple approach, but it's an approach that allows you to kind of escape that pressure, but also put pressure on that back line of the Knights. And so that is what I talk about when I haven't seen a whole lot of movement tonight. It is kind of those forwards and those midfielders making those runs to the line, but also playing those balls down the line. It's not the most pretty, it's not the smoothest type of way, but it's a way to escape pressure and to be able to build upon anything. Because right now the Raptors just don't have anything going on offensively.
Not offensively, that's for sure. They have possessed the ball a little more. There's a wide open Raptor on the side. She does run it down, but the defense is now caught up. Raptors had their best looking attack set up there. All right, this is some of the better offense we've seen.
Yeah, it was, and it was one of those things that the Raptors were trying to play that ball out wide. That movement was just not there. There was nobody making that line run on the far side. That's a good one, too.
See what happens. Free ball, Wochin. Cini. Diamond Brown will inbound it for Essex. And she's going to check out as Essex brings in a couple of subs. And Hernandez is going to throw it in. Maria Webb. See if Wochin can run it down. And Barrios, there's a trip, and they call a foul in the box.
Yeah, it's going to be a PK.
That will be a PK.
Barrios doing a great job of getting up, pushing forward a little bit, drawing that foul, and Barrios is one of those players that we've talked about throughout this evening, Michael, is somebody that not only scores but knows how to assist and play the ball. And for her to draw this foul, this is a huge opportunity with just under 27 to play.
And she will be taking the shot. Stephanie Barrios, a freshman out of Rockville High School. Has 7 goals on the season. And Friend comes up big. Not a lot of subterfuge with that shot.
Yeah, just not great placement on that one. Played it just maybe a foot off to the left of the keeper, and That one was just too easy. Barrios definitely wishes she had that one back.
Yeah, she'd like to rethink that one, I think. So the Raptors' absolute best opportunity of the day by far, and they come up empty-handed.
Zambrano with a good find there into Webb.
Raptors are definitely more aggressive offensively this half, which they obviously need to be with just 26 minutes to go in the match, trailing by 3. Essex playing very loose, a lot of smiles out there, but that their intensity is still there.
Just has not been the Raptors' night offensively. You get that PK, an opportunity to cut the lead down and maybe just build a little bit of momentum. Because at that point, we'd had a few good offensive possessions. We'd knocked the ball around a little bit. We'd switched the field. We played the ball down the line. We were getting a little flow going. You draw that penalty, have a chance to get that goal. It just wasn't meant to be, and that's kind of what the Raptors have dealt with offensively this entire match. And so can they build on that? Can they, it's always that early goal in that second half was crazy disheartening, but can they find a way to get another opportunity? And that's really what you want. Coach Holsendorf and her staff, you're just looking for how your team's going to respond, right?
Barrios with some nice footwork there to maintain possession.
It's a great move by Zambrano.
Very impressive player. Beautiful ball, but good defense by, who else? Freidenberg. Perfect spot. She gets it out of there. Raptors stay on the attack. They would love nothing better than to at least get a goal here. Definitely looked better offensively here in the second half. Mazzini centers it. Oh, Webb battles Freidenberg. She's everywhere.
It's definitely the best period of offensive soccer we've seen from the Raptors.
Yeah, the last 5 to 7, 8 minutes have been very positive. Just a shame they couldn't convert that PK.
Yeah, we've seen just a lot more movement, though, a lot more energy really on that offensive side. Like I said, we've just seen that movement piece is really so critical. And what I mean by that is by making those runs down the line, making diagonal runs. That's so important because even if you don't play the ball, so it's one of those things, Michael, when you play is even though you may make a diagonal run, you may not receive that ball. But what you've done is you've definitely taken one defender and possibly 2 or 3 defenders' eyes off of the play, which opens up another opportunity. And I like this ball out here near side. It's just that next piece that the Raptors are kind of missing. You cut it back inside, but where are you going with it next? What's that look like next? And that is where some of it's been broken here in the last 5 or 7 minutes. They've gotten it to that point, but how do they break through this Essex defense?
There's Webb with a shot on goal. Easy stop for Friend. The passes have been crisper. I love Zambrano's involvement. Boy, she makes things happen.
Yeah, you got to wonder if center back is the best spot for her from an offensive standpoint. That's one of those things that we kind of talked about the half is where do you play Zambrano? You need a good defender. Her and Watson have done a great job back there together. But you also need some of that offensive spark. You need somebody that can make things happen.
And she's probably the most skilled with the ball on her foot that I've seen for the Raptors. During the offseason, she played in the the Salvadoran under-20 national team, and did very well there. Came out of that experience with very high marks. Cini, not sure what the idea was there. I think she thought somebody was coming up, and they didn't. So there's a foul. Good look at Mackenzie Salenza. Ashlyn Fuentes with the free kick.
Ooh, that looks like it hit an arm.
Yeah.
No call. Man, I thought that definitely ricocheted off of a Raptor arm there on that shot.
And that would have been a disaster if they had called a handball. Cini.
So right there, Michael, that's exactly what I want. Instead of just ripping that ball into your forward, I would rather see number 16 for the Raptors make that run down the line and McCini find that ball to her down the line. It hits her with some pace, so that way she's running onto it instead of her receiving the ball stagnant. Standing still, right? Like if you're defending me, Michael, if I'm standing still, it's a lot easier for you to be able to do whatever you want. But if I make that run down the line, you have to catch me. Right? And like that's what we're just not seeing, some of those types of plays from the forwards to get out wide and push, and it's just causing the Raptors to look stagnant, to not be able to really put a ton of pressure on this back line because they're making it really easy at times for this Knight defense.
Yeah, they are. I mean, if you're standing stationary and they're surrounding them.
And the thing the Raptors do a good job of is switching the field, passing the ball out of the back, the defense and stuff. Like, they're not afraid to pass. The problem is some of that passing then leads to some stagnation. What I mean is we don't see any movement. We've got a family of deer out there.
Yeah, we do. We have a whole herd of them.
5 or 6 deer running.
They're out for their evening jaunt. You can see them over there on the left side of your screen, folks.
Let's hope somebody closed the gate over there.
They went back into there's one straggler out there. So 18 minutes to go in the match. Raptors have yet to put one on the board. It's been all Essex today. They scored 2 right at the start of the match, first 68 seconds, and then added a 3rd early in the second half. And the Raptors have been held scoreless so far and really have not had too many great opportunities.
Yeah, and it's a little bit surprising, especially because in their last 2 matches, they've scored 5 goals, right? I mean, back on the 5th, they won 2-0 against Richard Bland. Back on the 8th, they won 3-1. And so in a lot of ways, and we've already mentioned this, they seem to be moving in the right direction. And today, we just haven't seen that offense connect at all. The defense, you know, the first really 2 minutes in the first half and the first 5 minutes in the second half were really kind of the sections where they kind of struggled, as we do get a yellow card there. Looks like that was on number 2.
That's the first yellow of the day. That one's on Ashlyn Fuentes. Yeah. She's smiling.
Yeah, the referee had already had a conversation with her the last stoppage of play when he stopped the clock for us. when she was setting up the ball for the free kick, I saw him jog over and have a quick conversation with her, and she seemed a little bit exasperated by that conversation, and then 2 minutes later she received herself a yellow card. So
that is the first card of any sort that we've had today. Luckily, no reds. If you're new to the game, a red card is an automatic ejection, and at this level, you cannot play in the next match. So it's a double penalty for you and for the individual and the team and the coach. As Oliver ran into Lane, and Lane got the worst of that one. Avery Lane with 2 goals today for Essex. There's a good look at Maya Freidenberg. She's had an excellent match today on the as a defender. Raptors coaches. Head coach Alicia Holzendorf on the right there. Fuentes going to do the honors here. Got a youth soccer team coming in. They're going to be entertaining us and helping out during the men's game.
I love everything about that build up there, Michael, until really the final product. And what I mean by that is, what I liked was Webb was out wide. We fed her the ball out wide. Then what happened next? Oliver made a diagonal run. She made a run to the ball. She didn't stay stationary. She checked towards the line. We fed her the ball, and then you played soccer. She beat her one person, took it in, and then played across. Again, the end product wasn't what you want, but other than that, that's the type of offense we want to see this Raptors team do more of, is have some movement. Get the ball out wide, make those diagonal runs, because that eventually leads to good opportunities, right? And so that was a better kind of build-up that we've seen, and I hope we see more of that. And it's nice to see an impact, like a player that comes off the bench, Oliver, to make those runs, to try something different, to try to come up with some sort of spark for this offense. It's a great touch there by Lane, trying to beat another one. Massini's going to be able to get to that one, though, but a good touch.
That'll be a throw in for Essex. Riley Darchicourt. Time is definitely not MC's friend right now. They need a lot of magic to happen. Brano. Webb. Barrios. Let's see who wins the foot race here. Nobody there.
Yeah, Barrios is probably going to receive a card on this one. If she doesn't, she's going to be very lucky.
Nope, no card.
Yeah,
Just a
just
foul.
you don't love seeing that, the grabbing of the arm or anything like that. It just doesn't usually lead to a great product, which usually causes a lot of tension between both players.
Yeah. Essex on the attack again. Webb. Taken away. Minutes left in the match.
So just want to talk about that movement right now. The Raptors didn't really have anybody. Webb was checking to her, which isn't always the best thing, because where Webb was coming from was that midfield spot. And what happens there, Michael, when you come directly at her, you're bringing who with you? Most likely a defender, right? We're looking at that forward, Oliver, to make that line run, to make some sort of movement, check to it, do anything. But instead we saw a lot of just standing around. So really, out wide, you either had to play it into Webb, who had a defender all over her back, or you play it into Oliver, who's stationary and not moving. And so it's just not a great recipe for finding any sort of space or any sort of flow offensively.
And that's the result. Wochin is back in now for the Raptors. She is yet to score. Well, nobody scored for the Raptors, of course.
So what I want to see is number 16 make that line run. Instead of staying behind the defender, I want to see her make that run to the line, and for the Raptors, McCini to be able to play that ball down the line, whether that's over the top, whether that's on the ground. But instead, McCini doesn't have anywhere to pass it to, and it's a turnover. Right? And like that's what I'm talking about, is like there just isn't that movement. Those simple movements just don't exist right now for the Raptors.
And the results show it. Kick. Whoa. That one had something on it. Alert play there by Estrada. Really hasn't, other than the goal, of course, has really not been challenged much this. There's going to be a foul. Foul on Samantha Grace. Barrios.
So it's Barrios' options here. Look, nobody's checking to her. Everybody's running away, so it's her. She only has her one herself. She tries to play that ball into Oliver, but again, that's a tough ball to play into Oliver because of her positioning, right? And so instead, there's just that disconnect. And that's the thing that I hope the coaching staff really kind of sees, because this team has scored goals. They're coming off of 2 wins in a row, right?
Yep.
And in those, what did that movement look like compared to tonight, right? I think that's the big thing. What did it look like in our last game? And really getting the girls to do a little bit of reflection, too, of what did we do the last couple games? Why did it work? What didn't we do tonight, right? Because the season's progressing rapidly, right? I mean, you mentioned earlier, we were getting closer and closer to postseason play, and so these are the things that
less than a month away.
You don't want to see this type of stagnation. And there's some games, Michael, you're not going to score 2 goals a game. You're not going to score 4 goals a game all the time. You're going to have some tough ones, but we just haven't seen much offensively tonight to feel like the Raptors just got unlucky, right? It hasn't really felt like the Raptors have gotten unlucky. It just seems like they've been outplayed in a way that offensively they just haven't been able to build or do anything at all.
No, Friend has had a very, I don't want to say easy, but a very relaxed match back there in goal. And she has really not been challenged, as there is, unfortunately, there's a Raptor down.
I think it's going to be Barrios again.
She was not moving real well just a minute or so ago, so I'm not sure. Of course, she went down early in the second half.
Right at the beginning of this half.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like she's clutching her side, perhaps. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. You hate to see players get hurt. Raptors do have a couple of key players that are out with injury right now. Normally they would suit up 24. One of the deeper teams the Raptors women's program has had over the last 10 years, I'd say. So, let's recap the scoring. Avery Lane knocked in the first one of the match. Less than a minute into it.
19 seconds as you were running through the Essex starting lineup.
Yep. And then that was immediately followed by a goal from Sarah Briggs. That was a good sign there as Barrios comes off. Hopefully she's all right. And there's the men's team for Essex. They'll be playing the second half tonight against the Raptors. And we will be bringing that to you later on. We've got this one to finish. And then the third goal for Essex was scored right at the top of the second half. And again, that was Avery Lane. Yeah, we've got an excellent match coming up at 7 o'clock tonight between the MC Raptors men's team and the Essex men's team. Both of these teams are nationally ranked, and even if they weren't, it doesn't matter. It's always a great rivalry in soccer between these two schools.
Yeah, I've had this matchup for the girls and the guys circled on my calendar for a while now, Michael. I was excited to be able to do this alongside with you because it is such a big matchup. It's getting late in the season. Both of these teams have, in a lot of ways, their identities have been built, right? They're just trying to really nail out those final few details before the postseason gets here. And so we've been in for a treat. It hasn't been the treat that we wanted in this first game for our Raptors, but the second game is going to provide a lot of excitement as well, so make sure you tune into that one. About 7 o'clock following this one here, as the girls are about 7.5 to go here as your Raptors trying to find a way to create something offensively.
I mean, at this point, scoring 3 is going to be very, very tough, obviously. But they would love nothing more than to at least get on the board, as a corner's coming up here now for Essex, and number 10, Mackenzie Salenza, is going to take that. The Raptors men's match against Essex should be one of the better matches of the season.
And Watson took an absolute hit right in the chest there.
She saved a goal.
She did. She headed that ball out, and when she did, I couldn't tell who it was on Essex, but her momentum just carried her right into the chest of Watson.
Who is,
I think that may have been number 1, Friedenberg, possibly.
Going to get another look at it. It's off a corner.
Great save there.
Oh, they hit heads.
Yep, they did.
That was number 8 for Samantha Grace for Essex. They banged heads.
Yep.
And, of course, that's very dangerous. And I'm sure my guess is both players will leave the pitch.
Yeah, that was just one of those bang-bang plays. Both players going for that ball. And Watson's still down.
Yeah.
Essex player was able to get up.
Well, the Essex player had the momentum.
Yeah.
Going into her. She looks like she has a bloody nose. One of the captains for Essex. Number 8, Samantha Grace, a sophomore out of Jarrettsville, Maryland. And Isabel Watson is still down. Being tended to by both the Raptors head coach and the Raptors trainer. You can see the MC men over there starting their pregame warm-ups. Again, we will have that match for you about 10-15 minutes after this one is over. So don't go anywhere. We got a lot more soccer action tonight. And again, that should be an excellent match between 2 really excellent teams and 2 great coaches. Whereas in this match, we have 2 first-year coaches. It's definitely not the case in the men's match. Got lots to talk about there. So they are still tending to Isabel Watson. Our we'll be seeing a lot more of this group of young men in the men's game. They are going to be chasing the out-of-bounds balls on the sidelines during the game, and then they're going to entertain us with a little scrimmage at halftime. They are the Sharks United Soccer Academy. We're also hoping to have the coach join us in the booth for a minute or two after they get to play their exhibition at halftime. So it's always great to see youth soccer players out here. They obviously very enthusiastic, and so that'll be fun to watch them go at it at halftime. Boy, meanwhile, Isabel Watson is still down.
She took an absolute hit. I mean,
yeah, direct right to the forehead.
Yep.
That is, that's a tough one. Your team, this takes a lot out of you when you get one of your teammates hurt like this. She
is up. Especially this late in the match too. You're down 3-0. it just is like, in a lot of ways, it's like, really another thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just, it is just demoralizing, truly, because
it's one of
Watson has been
those-
so good, right? And she's one of the captains.
Yeah, she is. Yep, she's a sophomore from Gaithersburg High School, and she's being helped off. She may have lost consciousness from that hit. She looks very unsteady. And I'm sure the Raptors will proceed with every caution in terms of her care. Really hate to see that. And these kids love to play so much. All right, we may be getting close to being ready to get started. Got 6 minutes, just a little over 6 minutes to go in the match. Long delay here. Look at the keeper for Essex. Kayla Friend. So it'll be a goal kick for the Raptors, I think.
Yeah, it'd be a drop ball here. That should keeper pick it up and we'll get restarted after probably about a 10-minute
I'd say at least
delay.
About a 10-minute delay.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Here we go. We're back at it. And it'd be interesting to see what that delay, how that affects play here.
Yeah, especially with being so late in the game, Michael. It's one of those things, if it's early in the game, I think it's a different story. This late in the game, one team's up by 3 goals. It's just
kind of sucks the momentum out of the game.
It's almost just like, let's just get this done.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of ways, because there's no momentum. It's in a lot of ways, some people's legs are a little bit cold from sitting still, standing for those 10 minutes. And
right.
So it just is really unfortunate. You hate seeing an injury at any time.
Boy, you sure
hate
do.
what we saw there with Watson
Particularly
being
head
down.
injury.
Yeah, you just hate everything about that stuff. So, you know, really just see if both teams can kind of finish this one out.
Yeah, obviously the Isabel is one of the more one of the popular players on the team. Certainly, one of the better players, a captain. Her teammates have got to be distracted at this point, thinking about their teammate and hoping that it's nothing serious. But it did not look good, folks. It was a nasty collision. It was a clean play, both players going for the ball, but oh boy, that was quite a collision. So anyway, we are down to the 5-minute mark. And again, the men's game will be coming up about 10-15 minutes after this one. We're looking forward to that one as we play out the string on this one. Yep, now Friedenberg coming back in. She has really been the stalwart back there on the back line for the Essex defense.
Yeah, she's been fantastic from the get-go, really. We've talked about her consistently.
Plays with a lot of energy. And there's a foul. Good look at Estrada. Nadia Estrada, freshman keeper. Talking to Coach Holzendorf, he said she just came in and took the position. Was not a projected starter, but won the starter role outright. Battle for the ball, be Raptors. Nope, looks like it's going to be Essex with the inbound. Jim, they've had her bottled up today. Bam. Just over 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, if you're Essex, you're just really playing this one out. If there's an opportunity to play a through ball, if there's a little bit space, like we saw Lane there, shooting that one from, 30, 35 yards out, not a chance on that one. But in a lot of ways, it's just trying to let this clock run down as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think at this point, particularly considering the injury, players are just they're ready for this one to be over. Essex really kind of put this one away early in the second half when they scored that third goal. The Raptors did have a couple opportunities later in the second half, but they just have not been able to convert.
Yeah, and that was kind of the thing I mentioned at the beginning of the second half, right? Like the Raptors could not give a goal up early. Right? I said they really needed to get a chance. They didn't need to score in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but they needed to get a chance. And they didn't get that chance in the first 10 minutes, and they gave up a goal a little over 5 minutes into that second half. And that hurt a lot. We saw that opportunity for that penalty kick. Barrios wasn't able to bury that one. Raptors had that one opportunity in that first half, but it's really what we said, Michael. They haven't been unlucky in this one. They just haven't been great offensively, and it's just been a struggle from the get-go. Defensively, they weren't really, as Lane's going to shoot that one there, but at the beginning of the game, defensively, they were kind of asleep. The Dragon kind of got woken up, and the defense played a lot better. The back, Watson, which is what sucks so bad to see her go down, I really felt like after that second goal, she really got fired up and really got that defense to play together and kind of turn things around. Nobody was really expecting to score those quick goals, but the Raptors never really seemed to have an answer. And that was the thing that was a little bit surprising about this team, was that there was no answer. There was no answer offensively. There was no identity, really. And I think that's kind of the frustrating part for this Raptors team, is they were 4-game unbeaten streak. They'd won 2 in a row, looking good. And then tonight, Essex just really shut them down, period.
Yeah.
Gave them nothing.
Yeah, they've dominated. And their back line has been tremendous. And we are down to the very end here.
The Raptors have got a couple more games left that are important, and so it's one of those things. You got to bounce back. You have a bad game, and what better time to have a bad game than right now, right? In a lot of ways.
And that is the end of the match as the Raptors fall 3-0 Essex, 3 goals, 2 by Avery Lane, their leading scorer. She now has 15 for the season. Their second goal was scored by Sarah Briggs. That was her first of the season. The Raptors come up empty on the scoring in the scoring column, and as a result, with the loss, the Raptors fall to 6-7-2 on the season, whereas Essex improves to 10-4-1. For my partner, Caleb, and everybody here at MCTV, thanks for watching. And like I said, don't go anywhere, because coming up in just a few minutes, Raptors men's soccer will be taking on Essex, and that should be a great one. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching Raptors soccer.